In this video, I'm going to discuss how to overcome marijuana-induced panic attacks and anxiety. My name's Andy. I used to have anxiety for 3 to 4 years until I found a way to recover naturally, which is what I now share in this video on channel. And greetings from Zermatt, by the way. We wanted to go skiing today, but it wasn't possible, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm making this spontaneous video for you. I basically used to be a stoner many years ago. My mission every day was it started when I was a teenager, to be honest. And my mission every day was like, how can I get some weed? How can I smoke weed? I got into smoking cigarettes early, and I was kind of like a bit of an addict type person. Always have been, that addict type personality. Now, what happened eventually is, as I started to continue smoking weed all the time, is that obviously it can make you like paranoid over time. You know, when you have like a bad trip and you feel like something's going wrong, or you're super paranoid that people watch you. I remember in high school I used to like smoke joints in the lunch break. And literally there are people, like a friend of mine who was also like a stoner, he was like, you know what, today's the day you're gonna get kicked out. Your eyes are red like crazy. And I also used to have like those eye drops in lunch break. I would put in my eyes so they didn't seem red. And I did all this crazy shit, man, to kind of hide it. And I just became paranoid. And eventually I went to university, and there like smoking weed took hold again after a painful breakup. You see, I think if we're smoking weed often, it's because we're covering up some pain in our life, that we're not willing to face and address naturally, because we don't know how to, because we're not taught how to do natural healing, and we're not taught about natural healing modalities. So we're faced with a situation where we have to take matters in our own hands. Like this anxiety recovery journey, I feel like it's a personal growth journey that is here to challenge us, to help us level up and to become the best version of ourselves in essence, So what I learned is that it's very common for weed to induce not only like panic attacks, but also generalized anxiety or any anxiety disorder, because weed just messes with our minds. It's just not good for us, Regardless of what people say, like, oh, smoking weed therapeutic, blah, blah. To me, that's all BS, Like smoking weed is not good for you. It makes you feel like shit. Eventually, it demotivates you, and I don't recommend smoking weed. This is as someone who has smoked weed for years in the past, okay? Not just some theory, right? And it creates social anxiety, it can create generalized anxiety, it can create phobias. It can be the cause of anxiety itself, because you just get into this habit of being a stoner where it reduces your confidence, your motivation, your drive, your hunger, If you're a man, it takes away your hunger. Probably if you're a woman as well, I can't speak about that, because I'm a guy, but it will make you demotivated. And once you quit weed, generally when you quit like an addiction, like weed, I don't have experience with harder stuff really at all, like this advice is not applicable to like hard drugs, but to like soft drugs like weed, like it takes like 7 days or something once you quit for you to feel a lot better and for you to not feel like shit anymore. But you go through that withdrawal where you're literally like craving it, and you want it and you feel so bad, and it's like the only thing you want. But then after like 7 days or so, could be a bit longer, maybe longer, but the short term, you go through some suffering, some addiction withdrawal, and then you feel a lot better, right? And if you have anxiety, it's now like no longer, maybe for you the weed is no longer working as a quick fix like it did for me. I remember when I had my first proper like panic attack, anxiety freaking out, I tried to get back into smoking weed, but it just made it worse. So literally I was forced to smoke weed, like almost feels like I was forced to smoke weed from the universe. It was like, no, you're not smoking weed anymore. You have to let go of this habit, That's what it felt like. So I literally had to stop doing this and eventually just become natural, go the natural route. Then I went to the doctor, and he was like, Andy, you have anxiety. You probably have this for the rest of your life. Here's some pills. Maybe you can manage it, and that's it. And in that moment I decided as well, like, no, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to have anxiety for the rest of my life. I don't want to feel that way, And so I proceeded to go a natural route, because they said, just take these pills and medication and try this therapy, and you can't really get better. You can't improve your health. And now you have anxiety for the rest of your life, and there's nothing you can do about it. And so I then decided to find a natural way to overcome anxiety, and that's what I did. And I read many books, hundreds of books actually, to try and find a solution to overcome anxiety. And what I found was that once I adopted the right anxiety recovery principles, I actually started feeling better and got like relief from it, So the most important thing I discovered was actually the idea of acceptance, you know, because what you resist persists and may even grow in size. Carl Jung said that, the legendary psychologist, who also discussed like shadow and everything, which is the buried subconscious aspects of ourselves, you know, that we deemed not good, that we suppressed, you know, from our upbringing. That's also why we may have anxiety, because we learned it during childhood. You know, we were in a subconscious state of theta programming, and then we just like downloaded all these programs into our brain, and then we became like this, and that's why we have anxiety. So by the way, once you accept anxiety, you're actually healing this anxiety, okay? That's healing. Emotion is energy emotion, and it just wants to be felt so that it can leave the body, and feeling is healing, okay? So you just want to allow it to be there, and this includes anxiety symptoms. You can view all the crazy symptoms once you've gotten to the doctor, gotten checked and ruled out anything else as part of anxiety. You know, it's just the anxiety speaking as well again, and you don't need to micromanage or figure it out. You just know, okay, once you've gotten checked, it's just anxiety, and you just say to yourself, it's just anxiety, it's all good. And that's what I would say when it would be so intense. I would have like heart palpitations, panic attacks, crazy symptoms, freaking out. I would be like, okay, it's just anxiety. Almost like I'm being my own mother. I'm like, okay, it's just anxiety, it's all good. It's calming myself down, accepting it, and then also keeping myself busy, because you can't just sit there all day with the anxiety. You'll just like re-traumatize the anxiety, reprogram it. You know, if you just sit with it, it will be so overwhelming that you'll be like, oh, okay, it just doesn't work to just sit with it all day, you know. You don't have to go on an endless healing journey or something like this, you know. You just accept the anxiety, you keep yourself busy all the time. At night, if you can't sleep, you have some audio playing in the background, or some movie to help you fall asleep, you know. Maybe an audiobook playing, so your mind is not focused on the anxiety. If you can't sleep, you accept the sleep, you know, and then you just go to sleep. Eventually, you know. Only once you accept not sleeping will you be able to sleep again, which is a paradox. And it's the same with recovery. Only once you accept the anxiety will it go away. As long as you don't accept it, it will remain. It's a paradox. It's almost like a joke or something, a fucked up joke. So yeah, basically, you accept it, you keep yourself busy, you face your fears. You know, you currently have this anxiety identity, and as a result, you're probably avoiding lots of things, lots of social activities, maybe growth opportunities like career-wise or relationship-wise. Maybe you stop doing all these things because you're waiting to feel better, but that's the wrong way. There's a famous quote, do the thing and you will have the power. So you must literally act as though you're anxiety-free to send a powerful signal to your subconscious mind that you no longer wish to be anxious. You're stepping out of it. You're doing what you would do if you didn't have anxiety. So if you're afraid of, I'll use a random example from a client, afraid of touching doorknobs, then you go and touch a doorknob and you see that while you might freak out, it didn't kill you. Or if you're afraid of flying, you go fly. You like start doing it. And you can also begin to like do visualizations and other things, and EFT tapping and meditation, and look into these healthy habits. They will reprogram your subconscious mind to where you no longer feel this fear, you know. I'm sitting here recording this, people are walking past. This would have been unthinkable to me, like when I had anxiety. But I just kept like doing things, or even putting out this video. And as I just kept facing fear, you know, practicing what I preach, the anxiety, I don't have it. I haven't had it for 7 years. Sure, I might have a bad day or feel low or something. I went through a breakup in December that created some depressive emotions, but that's a normal response to something sad that happens in our life, and not a chronic condition, you know, where it's like 24/7, like I used to have, like 24/7 anxiety, man, like without reason, you know. I was like, there's no reason to feel this anxiety, but everything is scary and I don't really want to live like this, man. So that's why I went on this journey. If you want some coaching, schedule a free discovery call below this video and we can have a chat to see if I can help. And other than that, I'll see you in another video, my friend. Peace and much love.